In this video, we're breaking down buy-to-lets and flips, the pros, cons, and how to maximize your profits with each strategy. So that feeds me on to what is a buy-to-let. So a buy-to-let is a property that you are buying and then renting out to a single family. Typical ASD contract, happy days. And there's other videos for that, not to bore you too much with what that is. The way a buy-to-let best works is using the BTL method, where you have a pot of cash and then you can buy something run down, renovate it to increase the value, to force the appreciation up. But instead of selling, you hold the property, you get a refinance on the property to pull most of the money back out by getting a 75% loan to value buy-to-let mortgage, and then recycle your funds that way. So that's what buy-to-let is, and the best way to utilize it, to have a pot cash, do the BR method to buy, renovate and refinance, and in the back end, rent it out to a single family home, happy days. So flips and location. So why is location vital? At the end of the day, you come in to buy a property, to renovate, to sell it. You need a buyer to come in the back end to actually buy the property. And why is the buyer going to buy it? Because it has great amenities, shops, transport links, it has schools nearby. You want someone to come in at the back end and want to make it their home, and that's really, really vital. So having the right location is absolutely crucial with flips. In fact, it's one of the most fundamental elements, because location is going to dictate the pricing of the properties in the area and how sellable it is on the back end. So what actual returns you look for on your flips? So when we work with our clients, we typically target between a 15 to 20% return on flips, because that's very realistic. And the reason I give a margin there, this is really crucial, the reason I give a margin is a lot of people make the mistake of pricing a flip as a set figure. You need to have a margin of realistic case scenario and worst case scenario, because if you market the property, it's not selling quickly, and you've marketed it for like 2 months, it's not selling on the back end, you need to have a realistic minimum figure that you can sell it for to still make it worth your time to actually make profit on it. So I'd always say, like, for example, if we had a property that was worth 120 on the back end, I would say advertise it for 120, for example, but then, you know, have a 110 minimum, for example, you know, because that gives you your 15 to 20% margin, so you know you can reduce it if needed on the back end. You get the point. So 15 to 20% is our kind of criteria, and it's kind of what we aim for, so I hope that makes sense. So adding value, typically you have to add some sort of value to a property to be able to sell it. So typically the properties that we work with in South Wales, for example, you're buying something run down, you're buying a property at a discount, you make money on your property when you purchase it. That's the main thing. You purchase with equity immediately. So you buy it with equity in, you carry out the renovation to actually force the appreciation up to the actual selling price you want, and then obviously sell it on the back end. So typically we are doing renovation projects to actually increase the value. So having some sort of renovation and having a good, reliable team is absolutely crucial for this. Hence why we have a couple of build teams we work with in South Wales who are reliable, communicate well, and is genuinely very good. So having a good build team is really crucial, because you will expect to do renovations to increase the value of said property. So location of buy-to-let, why is that crucial? So at the end of the day, you still need to have a good location from a tenant point of view, because obviously when you're renting out on a buy-to-let, you're renting the property to tenants who are going to stay there for hopefully the next 3 to 5, 10 years, for example, and they make it their home for that period. So location is really important with this, because you want to have good transport links, you want to have good shops, amenities, and the same sort of loose criteria as with flips, to the point of someone wants to come there and make it their home for that period, and they want to make it just a nice family home, but they don't want to stay there for the next 5-10 years, hence why people rent. People tend to rent typically, this isn't set in stone, but typically because they want to have a short-term way of increasing their budget to actually buy later on. So we never expect tenants to stay for more than 3 to 5 years, even in good areas. So make sure it's a good area for that duration, and then you cover yourself. What sort of returns can you get on buy-to-let? Our projects we're typically targeting probably about 18%, give or take, so roughly the same as flips. But yeah, 18% is our kind of go-to, if not 20%. So yeah, very standard returns. That's using the BR method, where you can buy, renovate and refinance, pull a lot of your money back out, rent it for cash flow, and have equity in the back end. That's literally the best way to recycle your funds and match the 20% ROI. So I've actually touched on the BR method and why it's so effective to actually recycle funds, to actually build a portfolio. Yes, you could just do a standard buy-to-let and buy something to rent out, but we do tend to work with people who want to actually build a portfolio by recycling the funds. That's good, and that's done by renovation. So again, having a good, reliable build team is absolutely crucial for this, because you're going to be buying typically a lot of rundown properties, renovating them, refinancing them on the back end to recycle your funds, and just have a buy-to-let mortgage on the back end. And time is money, So you got to make sure that you got someone who's on time and effective what they do and communicates very well. So let's actually compare the two strategies now. So buy-to-lets and flips. First of all, renovation differences. With a flip, you want to make sure that you're going for a 9 out of 10 finish, because you want someone to come in and really be like, wow, this is beautiful. With a buy-to-let, you just need a 7 to 8 out of 10. The main thing with a buy-to-let is compliance, making sure it's buy-to-let compliant for the location. In England and Wales, that's different, for example, so just bear in mind where you actually invest. But you need it to be practical, functioning, and actually have a long-term point of view in terms of like you want good quality stuff in there to actually last a long time with buy-to-lets. But the difference with a flip is, yes, you want all that, but you also want to have someone walk in that house and be like, wow, this actually looks really nice. It's not just a fresh new kitchen, it's actually got a bit of a USP with it, and someone wants to come in and actually buy it quickly. So that's one thing I'd really say with flips. Spend a little bit, not OTC, but a little bit extra capital just to have that wow factor. That'd be one of my biggest pieces of advice if you're doing it yourselves. And if you want us to help you, reach out, because we can help you with that. So exits, this is one of the most important comparable bits of this video, so this is really important. For your protection, when you're making property investments, you want to have at least 2 exits on the back end of your property. So when you're buying something, renovating it, and then you've got the option of refinancing or selling it, you want to be in a position at the back end where you can do both. You're not expecting to make crazy profits off the back end. Like if you approach like a BR where you've bought, renovated, and you're in a position where you can refinance to pull your money out, but you're considering flipping, you wouldn't expect to make a huge profit off it as a flip, but you want to be able to flip it on the back end, i.e. sell it on the back end if needed, if COVID 2.0 happens. So that's one of the most important bits I can say in terms of protecting your investments. If you're looking to build a portfolio, make sure that you've got equity in every single project once you actually renovate, so that if you come to sell at the back end, then you can actually still make some money and break even at bare minimum. You wouldn't expect to make crazy money off it, but just to kind of protect yourself if you are renovating it and selling it. Same goes for buy and hold. So we have a lot of buy and sell clients who are doing flips with us, but if it's not selling in time, if it's not selling quickly, they can always do a refinance on the back end, which means they can buy and hold instead. It's just to break even. I'm not expecting to make cash flow off the back end, but it's just a good way of protecting yourselves. So that's why I'd always say, make sure you're protecting yourselves from your investments, and make sure you got at least 2 exits. So if you're doing a flip, make sure you can hold it, and if you're doing a buy and hold, make sure you can still sell it, not with expectation on the back of exit of actually making a profit, just to break even, to make sure you're not making a loss. Because if you're doing a buy and hold, it's a different approach. You're doing different locations. With buy and hold, you're doing cheaper areas. With flips, you're doing much more expensive areas. You can't have the perfect balance of both, in terms of like, you can't be in a really expensive area and look to make a healthy cash flow for buy and hold. It doesn't work that way. And if you're doing a buy and hold, you don't have enough margin to make a healthy profit as a flip. So that's a couple of things I'd really factor in when you're doing a project. Make sure that you've got a second exit in, but it's only to give a backup protection for you. So, and that feeds me perfectly onto how we can help you. So if you're looking to get into property, if you've got money sat in the bank and you want to make money from property, either doing flips or buy and holds, or just invest with us in general, I'm going to put a link in the description to this video to book a call with us. The call is literally just to figure out your position, where you are, and how we can help you moving forward if you want to have your money working harder for you. Generally, no pressure on the call, just to kind of brainstorm. So book a call with us. Even if you're unsure or not too sure on your options, a lot of that call can be based on just figuring out your options. So book a call with us, we'll see how we can help you, and look forward to speaking.